Scorching heat with temperatures reaching 50 degrees C, unbelievably bad internet. Could this really be the land of kangaroos Australia you once dreamed of? In fact, many people have chosen to leave this country immediately after directly experiencing life here. Though what makes a country renowned for its top quality of life face this heartbreaking reality? Could it be the geographical isolation, skyrocketing house prices, or is there something else hidden about Australia waiting for you to discover in the video? Moreover, why is the Australian dream gradually fading in the hearts of many? In today's documentary, we will delve into the top 10 reasons why you need to think carefully before deciding to move to Australia. Let's begin the journey to uncover the truth. The most important reason many people do not choose Australia as their main destination is the hot and uncomfortable weather. Australia is not a country with perfect temperatures year-round. Especially climate change has made this country increasingly hotter, with heat waves occurring more frequently, lasting longer, and reaching record temperatures. From 1910 to 2023, temperatures in Australia have increased by 1.51 degrees C, a concerning figure. Notably, nearly 90% of Australia's population lives within 50 km of the coast because the inland areas are almost uninhabitable, with temperatures in remote regions reaching up to 250 degrees C, 122 degrees. In the past, miners even had to build an underground settlement in Coober Pedy to escape this intense heat. Although the coastal areas help reduce the temperature, summers here still frequently exceed 40 degrees C, 104 degrees F. Even cities famous for their pleasant weather, like Sydney and Perth, are not immune to unfavorable weather days. Sunny days, beautiful beaches, and a location near the equator make Australia a paradise for sunshine. But this also leads to a concerning reality. 2/3 of Australians are adversely affected by skin conditions, especially the elderly who face alarming health issues. This situation puts significant pressure on the healthcare system, which is already facing many other challenges. So if you love cool weather, Australia might not be the ideal place. Life here requires careful preparation to cope with the heat, drink enough water, keep your body cool, and always cover up carefully when going outside. The challenging climate is perhaps the main reason why the Australian dream is gradually fading. With the increase in temperature, scorching sunny days, and related health issues, Australia is no longer the perfect destination that many once thought. Before deciding to move to this country, carefully consider the weather and the impacts it may bring. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to follow more interesting reasons. Did you know that it's not just the unbearably hot weather, but also the poor quality of the internet that worries a significant number of people when moving to Australia? The internet in Australia is not only slow but also expensive, which can be a significant barrier for those working in the technology sector or heavily reliant on online activities. According to speedest.net, the global average internet speed is currently 93.93 Mbps, but in Australia, this figure only reaches 66.58 Mbps, ranking 82nd in the world. It's surprising that a developed country like Australia is surpassed by Oman, the Czech Republic, and only slightly ahead of Uzbekistan. In addition, the internet in Australia is also unstable, leading to many inconveniences. Imagine scheduling a perfect Zoom call with colleagues or a cozy chat with family, only for the connection to suddenly drop or lag, ruining all your plans. Living with such poor internet quality, do you feel uncomfortable? It's really bad, isn't it? According to the World Population Review, the average download speed in Australia in 2024 is 77.99 Mbps, and the fixed broadband speed is 71.87 Mbps, so slow that you could spend an entire evening just downloading a favorite movie. So in major cities, internet connectivity is often better, but in rural areas, things get worse with low speeds and high costs. This poses a significant challenge for those working remotely or wanting to maintain regular contact with family and friends. You might wonder, why does Australia, a modern country, face challenges with internet speed? The reason lies in a strategic decision made in the past. Australia once had an ambitious plan to completely replace the copper network with fiber optics, aiming to provide higher connection speeds for every household. However, after an election, the new government decided to upgrade the existing copper network instead of fully deploying fiber optics. This decision cost around 50 billion Australian dollars, but most internet connections still rely on old technology, while many other countries have switched to complete fiber optics. With its lagging internet speed and significant inconveniences, Australia is clearly not the perfect choice that many people imagine. This is another important reason why you should think carefully before deciding to move to the land of kangaroos. Another key factor you need to consider carefully before moving to Australia is the skyrocketing housing prices. So the dream of owning a house in Australia is becoming more distant than ever, especially for the younger generation. The average residential property prices have skyrocketed over the past decade, and by June 2024, this figure reached a record 973.3 Australian dollars. In Sydney, the average house price is even higher at $1.1 million, an increase of 37% since the pandemic, and about $250,000 more than the second city, Brisbane. Will the dream of homeownership in Australia become impossible? The 2024 Australian Homelessness Monitor report has revealed a concerning reality. The number of people sleeping outdoors has increased by 22% nationwide over the past 3 years. Especially in New South Wales, this number has increased by 51% since 2020, largely due to the increasingly alarming housing crisis. Surprisingly, this crisis not only affects low-income individuals but has also spread to the employed class. The percentage of employed individuals who still have to use services for the homeless has increased from 10.9% to 15.3% over the past 5 years. This shows that even Australians with stable jobs are facing the risk of losing their homes due to prices far exceeding their ability to pay. Additionally, although the housing supply in Australia has increased, this does not mean that house prices have become more affordable. Real estate prices still far exceed the average income, making it unaffordable for most low and middle income residents to buy a house. Additionally, the increase in mortgage interest rates has made borrowing for home purchases more difficult, pushing many people into financial stress as they face increasingly larger loans. This has become a key factor that makes many people reconsider moving to Australia. With astronomical house prices, high living costs, and an increased risk of losing homes, Australia is no longer the ideal choice that many people still envision. Think carefully before making the decision to move to this country, especially if you dream of a stable life with your own home. So let's continue exploring other reasons why Australia might not be the ideal place to settle. One crucial reason why many people reconsider moving to Australia is the country's isolated geographical location. Australia, an isolated island continent situated between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, has no land borders with any country. Neighboring countries like Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and New Zealand are all far away across vast seas. This isolation significantly affects the lives of the people and the tourism industry. Economically, the geographical distance increases the costs of imports and exports, leading to higher prices for goods and services. This can reduce the purchasing power and quality of life of residents. For tourism, the remoteness makes traveling to Australia expensive and time-consuming, which can discourage international tourists. This also poses similar challenges for the Australian people. I didn't step out of Australia until I was 20 years old, and I wasn't the only one doing that. Most of my friends are in a similar situation unless they go on exchange, save money to travel during school breaks, go to Bali for end-of-year parties, or are taken on vacation abroad by their families. Moreover, the frequent visits to family and friends back home have become challenging, leading to feelings of isolation and negatively impacting mental health. Flights from North America or the UK to Australia can take up to 24 hours, and cost thousands of dollars. Each trip home requires meticulous planning, time off work, and expenses, causing some expatriates to regret their decision to move to Australia. Additionally, isolation also limits access to services and opportunities from other countries, affecting cultural diversity and international exchange. However, isolation also brings some benefits. In some ways, this place is quite good because you can feel quite safe living here, but this should not be taken lightly. While fair in terms of the environment, it helps protect Australia's unique ecosystem from invasive species and diseases from outside. Socially, isolation can create a close-knit and self-reliant community with a distinct cultural identity. However, for many people, the challenges posed by Australia's isolated geographical location can be a significant reason for them to carefully consider before deciding to move to this country. Next, the issue of healthcare in Australia still has many shortcomings, causing many people to feel uneasy about moving to this country. Although Australia has an accessible and reasonably priced healthcare system, there are still notable limitations. One of the main issues is the long waiting time for non-urgent medical procedures. The Australian Medical Association, AMA, has pointed out that many elective surgery patients have to wait longer than the initially commuted time, creating a hidden waiting list, not included in the official statistics. So this is frustrating for those who need timely care, especially in non-urgent cases that affect quality of life. This situation is similar to that in Canada. Additionally, for those with chronic illnesses or who need specialized care, finding the right doctor or specialist can be challenging. The number of specialists accounts for about 25% of the total number of clinical doctors, leading to an average waiting time of 6 to 7 weeks for appointments with specialists. To address this, many Australians and foreigners choose to purchase private health insurance to access services more quickly and have the freedom to choose their preferred doctors. However, the cost of the service is also not small. These limitations in the healthcare system may cause some people to feel concerned when considering moving to Australia. Therefore, if you are considering settling in Australia, thoroughly understanding the healthcare system and insurance options is essential to ensure you and your family receive appropriate care. Next, we will explore additional factors that may influence this decision. So next, one of the core reasons many people consider moving to Australia is the country's progressive income tax system. According to this system, individuals with higher incomes will have to pay a higher tax rate. Specifically, income over $180,000 per year will be subject to the highest tax rate of 45%, including a surcharge to fund the National Medicare healthcare package. Data from the Organization for Economic Colorado Operation and Development, OECD, shows that in the 2022 to 23 financial year, Australia's average tax rate increased by 7.6%, marking the largest increase among the 38 member countries of the OECD. For single Australians earning 167% of the average wage in 2023, equivalent to 166,274 AUD, the tax burden has increased to 34%, or approximately 56,533 AUD. This can make it difficult for high-income earners to save or invest. Notably, some foreigners, especially from the United Kingdom, are often surprised to find that tax rates in Australia are comparable and even higher than those in their home country. So this can affect their decision to settle permanently in Australia. Although Australia's tax system aims to create social equity and support public services, high tax rates can be a significant factor, causing many people to think carefully before choosing Australia as their settlement destination. Another important reason why many people consider moving to Australia is the public transportation system, which still has many shortcomings, especially when compared to other countries. Although public transportation is available in most major cities, its availability and efficiency can be very limited in areas far from the center, especially in Western Australia. In major cities like Sydney or Melbourne, the public transportation system is generally quite good and affordable. However, when traveling between states, transportation options become scarce, largely due to the vast size of the country. The long-distance bus network, while able to reach remote areas, has stops that are very far apart, and a trip can take more than 24 hours. Especially traffic in Australia poses a challenge for immigrants as they have to get used to driving on the left side, with the steering wheel on the right. For those who are used to driving in countries like Vietnam, this requires extreme caution in the initial days of getting accustomed. Additionally, owning a car is almost mandatory in Australia, as the distances between cities are often very far, while public transportation cannot meet daily commuting needs. It is important to note that buying and maintaining a car in Australia can be very expensive, contributing to the increase in the cost of living. Additionally, taxes here are not a cost-effective solution either, with significantly higher fares during the evenings, weekends, and holidays. These factors make Australia's transportation system a significant challenge, forcing many people to think carefully before deciding to move to this country. Continuing, when you plan to move to Australia, a country famously known as the land of kangaroos, be careful to think about this iconic animal, as the reality might be worse than you think. When thinking of Australia, many people envision friendly kangaroos hopping around everywhere, ready to take photos with tourists. However, reality is not always like that. Kangaroos are wild animals and can become aggressive if they feel humans are encroaching on their territory. So it is important to remember that kangaroos are wild animals with strong hind legs and sharp claws. Therefore, it is advisable to maintain a safe distance and respect their natural behavior to ensure the safety of both humans and animals. Misunderstandings about the friendliness of kangaroos might be one of the reasons some people reconsider their decision to move to Australia. Let's explore more factors to gain a more comprehensive view of life in this country. Another factor that makes many people think carefully before moving to Australia is the operating hours of shops and restaurants in this country. If you are someone who enjoys nightlife or is used to services being available at all times, you might find this quite inconvenient. In Australia, most shops and restaurants close early around sunset, especially on weekdays. Even on weekends, operating hours are even more limited. This is not just a minor change, but could also become a major cultural shock for those coming from places where 24-hour businesses are common. Australians are often described as morning people, focusing on a healthy lifestyle and starting their day early. However, this does not suit those who love nightlife or have different work schedules. Although in major cities like Sydney, Brisbane, or Melbourne, some places may stay open later, finding supplies after 5 or 6 p.m. in other areas remains a significant challenge. So this inconvenience not only affects daily routines but also makes it difficult for immigrants to adapt to the new lifestyle. For many people, this time constraint is one of the reasons they consider settling in Australia. So does life in the land of kangaroos really in line with your expectations? Think carefully before making a decision. Another important reason why many people abandon their plans to move to Australia is the limited quality of mental health services. When it comes to life in Australia, many people envision a peaceful, relaxing environment that is in harmony with nature. However, in reality, there is an aspect that makes many people reconsider their decision to settle here: the quality of mental health services. Although Australians are known for their lively and optimistic demeanor, the culture here does not encourage sharing emotions or discussing personal issues. So this has led to a concerning nationwide mental health crisis. Currently, Australia has several free mental health care programs for those at high risk. However, due to the shortage of psychologists and counselors, many people do not have the opportunity to receive timely professional support. Those who wish to seek psychological therapy often have to pay a significant amount out of their own pockets, which increases financial pressure, especially for those with middle or low incomes. Even when it is affordable, finding a well-trained doctor who provides effective therapy is not easy at all. According to statistics, 1 in 5 Australians aged 16 to 85 experiences a mental health issue. Moreover, more than 20% of Australian teenagers are facing psychological disorders affecting their quality of life. This reality raises the question, how can one live peacefully and relax in the context of work pressure and unresolved psychological challenges? One of the reasons leading to mental health issues in Australia is the prevalent culture here. Instead of facing and resolving problems, Australians are often encouraged to endure and hide their emotions. They pretend that everything is fine, even when facing inner difficulties. This not only increases the risk of psychological distress, but also creates a significant gap in community support. If you are looking for a living environment with supportive mental health services and a community that encourages sharing, Australia may not be the right choice. The poor quality of mental health services is one of the key factors that make many people think twice before deciding to move here. In this context, a peaceful life in the land of kangaroos may just be a difficult dream to achieve. Above are the reasons you should carefully consider before deciding to move to Australia. Although known as a desirable country with a high quality of life, in reality, there are many factors that make the Australian dream not as expected. From challenges related to living conditions, cost of living, to public services and culture, all of these can leave you feeling disappointed. Especially the underdeveloped mental health services are one of the concerning issues affecting long-term quality of life. With these shortcomings, is Australia really the ideal place to start a new life? Or is it just a dream destination that you need to consider more carefully? We've made every effort to provide accurate and valuable information in this video, but it's impossible to cover every aspect of the topic. Please consider this a starting point, and we encourage you to do your own research to better understand and engage with this pressing issue. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support means so much to us. If there's a country or topic you'd like us to explore next, let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.